Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I acknowledge those guests in the gallery today. I rise today to speak on behalf of the people of Hornsby and broader communities that rely on the T1 North Shore and T9 Northern train lines. These are not just train services, they are the lifelines for thousands of families who depend on public transport to get to work, school and home again. Yet right now they are being let down by a system that is too often delayed, too often unreliable and increasingly unfit for the demands placed upon it. Public transport delays are not just an inconvenience, but in fact a serious barrier to the daily life for thousands of residents in the Hornsby community. Earlier this year, in the last few weeks, I asked the community to share their experience through the Hornsby Train surveys. The results speak clearly. Our train system is not working as it should. Public transport is essential. People rely on it to get to work, to school, to appointments, but right now that system isn't holding up to its end of the bargain. Delays, unreliable connections aren't just rare, they're daily. They're a fact we have to deal with. We know from the government's own data that 1 in every 5 trains on the T1 and T9 lines have been delayed in the past year. That translates to almost every single one of the respondents to the Hornsby Train survey saying that they have been impacted by such delays and cancellations. For those who commute 4 times or more per week, it's around 75% of respondents who said every fortnight they are faced with a train delay, which is significant enough for them to note, or a cancellation. These delays have real consequences beyond just inconvenience. A respondent to the survey stated, and I quote, "The unreliability of train services, poor connecting services, and lack of parking after dropping the kids at school. This is disappointing, as if the service was better, I would utilise this option instead of driving, thereby reducing emissions, congestion, and my costs." Again, further frustration comes from a lack of timely communication when the network is impacted by delays or other issues. Another constituent who responded to the survey, Jamie from Barara Heights, documented his own train trips over a 5-week period. He documented 50 train trips in total. Just one of those 50 train services arrived on time. He calculated that he lost 36 minutes each week. That's time that could have been spent with his family, resting, or contributing more productively at work. These are not just isolated complaints, they are the stories of so many who live in Hornsby, Asquith, Mount Colah and Barara. And it's not just delays. The decision last year to cancel express services along the T1 and T9 lines has had a major impact as well. Commuters now face a longer and slower all-stops journey into the city. Every extra minute that people spend waiting on a platform or calling through an all-stop service is a minute they don't get to spend with their kids. It's a bedtime story missed, a meal with the family missed, or the ability to pick up their kids from soccer or netball practice. Constraints on parking are also a major issue, particularly around Hornsby. Many residents who fear a train service being cancelled at Hornsby Station are forced to drive from Barara, Mount Colah and Asquith to Hornsby, but then struggle to find parking there. So what needs to change? Well, we need to restore express services which were cancelled last year. We need to install an Opal reader at the Hornsby Station commuter car park to ensure that that car park is actually being used by commuters. We need to update and upgrade the footpaths around Barara Station so that residents from the Hornsby community, as well as residents from the Central Coast using Barara Station, don't have to walk through knee-high grass in order to reach the station. We need to do the work and commit the funds so that Sydney Trains can meet the KPIs that it's set for itself. We also need to stop cancelling services at Hornsby, which are meant to travel through to Barara and beyond, a frequent problem and frustration for many. A long-term solution lies in improving the reliability of the network by upgrading the technology infrastructure that the network relies on, such as digital signalling upgrades. Technology can allow trains to run faster and more often, safely and with greater reliability. We can have more trains on our network, more frequent services and reduced trip times through technology improvements. Other global cities are reaping the benefit from these types of technology upgrades on their older train lines, and Sydney must not be left behind. I thank all those that participated in the Hornsby Train survey, and I'll continue to advocate on their issues and on their behalf. Thank you.
I thank the member.